a lot of people completely their entire lives up by thinking that their success is the result of them, when in reality, it's not the result of them. It's the result of the actions that the previous version of them have taken, which have produced this reality. So now you're in a reality of comfort. You've got some money in the bank. You're pretty fit. Things are going well. And then you stop. You stop doing the things that hungry person did. You stop doing the things that fat person did to get in shape. You stop doing the things that broke person did to fix that problem. And then what happens? The problems start to happen again. Okay. And slowly and surely you go back down to who you used to be in reality, not just in your mind. What is up, guys? It's Andy Frisella, and this is the show for the realists. Say goodbye to the lies, the fakeness, and delusions of modern society, and welcome to reality. Guys, today we have Q&AF. That's where you submit questions, and we give you the answers. DJ's going to tell you how you could submit those questions.
Hello, children. Guys, email these questions into askandy@andyfrisella.com, or you guys can click the link in the description below and submit your questions for a chance to be pulled from there, or comment on the Q&AF videos on the new Andy Frisella Motivation YouTube page.
Now, if you're listening to the show on audio, we're going to ask you to please go to the new Andy Frisella YouTube channel, Andy Frisella Motivation, and click subscribe. As you guys know, we have separated CTIs and Q&AFs and personal development on YouTube. So go over there and hit that subscribe for us. If this is your first time listening, we have many different shows. We have Q&AF, which is what you're about to hear. We have CTI, which you can catch tonight at 7 p.m. Central live on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and YouTube. Soon to be coming to all streaming platforms. Then we have what's called Real Talk. Real Talk is just me giving you 5 to 20 minutes of some real talk. And then we have 75 Hard Verses. 75 Hard Verses, where somebody who's completed the 75 Hard program comes on the show. They talk about how they were before, how they are now, and how they use 75 Hard to transform their lives. If you're unfamiliar with 75 Hard, it is the initial phase of the Live Hard program, which is the world's most famous mental transformation program in history, and it's free. You can get that entire program at episode 208 on the audio feed. Again, that's 208 on the audio feed only. There's also a book at andyfrisella.com called The Book on Mental Toughness. Great book. We sell a lot of them. If you like the ins and outs and all the nuts and bolts and you know the why behind everything, it's a great book. Huge group of people starting 75 Hard today, actually, which I just found out about. But so if you haven't done it, do it. And then what do we have? Oh, we have a fee. The fee is very simple. Do us a favor and share the show. I think we're the only podcast in the world that doesn't run ads. Nobody's paying me. You're going to get the real shit here. And we just ask very simply to help us share it out, help us grow the show. So don't be a hoe.
Share the show.
All right. What's going on over there?
Hopefully we're live tonight on Monday. We all don't get snowed into oblivion.
Yeah.
But,
listen, we're like the mail.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It's happening no matter what.
It just don't stop. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, big group of, I just found this out, but a really big group of people starting 75 Hard on Monday. So
no shit.
I'm excited about that.
I'd be sick.
Yeah.
I'd be sick. Hell yeah, man. Well, yeah, let's make some people better today, shall we?
Yes. One of you guys put out a cold water for me. Thank you. Who did that?
Joe.
Joe Gilman?
Yeah.
Ice Cream Joe? All right.
Joe.
Thank you, brother.
Joe, you got Joe. Got something right here.
No, that's just called being courteous, bro. Yeah. Listen.
No, Joe's the guy.
Hey, I come in here and shit is ready to go. It's appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take it for granted. So
right. These questions are hot too.
Are they?
Oh yeah.
All right, good.
Like that?
No.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah. What are you drinking over there?
Huh? Oh, a little Paradise Punch.
What do you think of that one?
It's not an ad, but if it were one, this is the best flavor that ever existed, dude. Ever existed.
Man, it's right up there with Screaming Freedom for me.
Dude, it's like, I keep thinking like, okay, like, dude, the OG lineup came out, right? And I'm like, there's no chance these Like anything could be better. And then it got better.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, well, like the new OG flavor, like there's nothing that could be possible. And then this thing comes out.
Yeah.
All right.
That thing's awesome.
And dude, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what's crazy?
We need to get rid of that blue blitz. That blue blitz is not my vibe. And we need to replace it with that full time. That's my opinion.
Yeah. I know this, dude. I let that orange sit the other day on accident. Like I wasn't drinking it fast enough. And so like the carbonation loss.
Yeah.
It was still delicious.
Oh yeah.
Like it tasted like OJ. You know what I'm saying? Like some nice juice. Like some tang.
Yeah. Some tang.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I know a little something.
That's some poor people shit right there, buddy.
It tasted like orange drink.
Yeah.
You
Orange drink.
Yeah, man. Well, guys, let's make some people better today. Guys, you guys know how this goes. I got 3. We're ready to roll.
You got 3 what?
3 good ones for you, bro.
All right.
With all the meat.
That's right.
And potatoes. All
Open up.
Gobble, gobble. Guys, Andy, question number 1. Andy, I'm doing things now that the old version of me wouldn't even attempt. Better habits, harder conversations, bigger goals, but internally, I still feel like the same person. How long does it take before your identity actually catches up to the life you're building? And is there anything you can do to speed it up?
All right, look. First of all, why? Okay. Consider this. The reason you're moving so good is because you remember what it's like to be the old you. That's not a bad thing, okay? When people fail in life, whether it's a business or whether it's their personal development or whether it's their fitness, they fail because they forget what life was like before, all right? We see this all the time in business. People make money, they get in a comfortable spot, and then all of a sudden they're broke, all right? So the reason this happens is because their identity changes from someone who is being a hard worker, who is thinking, who is solving problems, who is innovating, who's pushing themselves down the path to this place where they start to take it for granted and they assume that it's always going to be there, which it will not. And the most common types of people that lose are not actually people that just never try. It's actually people who won once. And they win once and they attach their identity to that win. And then they lose all of the habits and all of the work and all of the discipline and everything over the course of time because they identify with that win. People who win long term, people who win over the course of their life over and over and over and over again, they never forget who the f they actually are. Okay? So it's this nuance that you have to learn to master, which is being grateful for where you're at, being grateful that things are going good, but also remembering that things are not going good because you're you or you're gifted. Things are going good because the old you was willing to do things that produce the current reality that you live in. And when you lose sight of this and you lose the perspective that the current reality that you live in was built by someone who used to exist, you want to keep the that created all this shit moving. Okay? Does this make sense?
Yeah, it does.
All right?
It does now. Yeah.
So a lot of people completely f their entire lives up by thinking that their success is the result of them, when in reality, it's not the result of them. It's the result of the actions that the previous version of them have taken, which have produced this reality. Okay? So now you're in a reality of comfort. You've got some money in the bank. You're pretty fit. Things are going well. And then you stop. You stop doing the things that hungry person did. You stop doing the things that fat person did to get in shape. You stop doing the things that broke person did to fix that problem. And then what happens? The problems start to happen again. Okay? And slowly and surely you go back down to who you used to be in reality, not just in your mind. So when we think about this, what is this problem, right? This is actually an ego problem. Okay? And when we talk about being humble, this is where humility is applicable. we have to understand and detach our results from our identity and understand that our results come from the actions. So what most people do is they go through this situation of life where, like, if you imagine a bell curve, for those of you who are listening on audio, and you start on the left-hand side of the curve and you don't know shit, you don't know anything, you are very willing to learn, you are hungry, you are a sponge, you're willing to do things that other people won't do, you are willing to work harder, you're willing to work smarter, you're willing to pour into yourself because, dude, you're a blank slate and you know you're a blank slate. So what happens is you start to move up the curve and things are going good and you're continuing these habits because they're still fresh for you and you're like, fuck yeah, this is working, this is going good. And what happens is you get to the top, which you perceive as the top, which is not actually the top. You get to the top of this curve. And what happens for most people is they start to believe that the reason that they are at that curve is because they are great. No, you're not great. None of us are actually great. We're the result of great actions over the course of time. And so when your identity actually switches from, you're this hungry individual who doesn't know shit to I'm great because I breathe the air and I walk, I'm the man. What happens is you start losing the perspective of what it took to get where you are, and you stop doing those things, and then you slide down the backside of the curve, okay? And you don't notice it at first. At first, it's just a cut corner. At first, it's just a
missed workout.
A missed workout or, a missed meeting or something like that, right? And then before you know it, your life's falling apart and you can't figure out why. And then you find yourself back at ground zero, which people what people call this part, it's no longer ground zero, it's rock bottom.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So now you're at quote unquote rock bottom and you have to start again. So you get hammered so hard that you humble yourself and then you're like, okay, well, fuck, I gotta get back to this. And then what happens? The process repeats and you start to go up the curve. And for most people, they make the same mistake again when things start getting good. They get comfortable and then they go down the curve. So most people live in this series of curves, okay? Up, down, up, down. And the goal is for you, when you get to the top of that first curve, when everything is going good, you're making some money, you're fit, you're kicking ass, you are the man. But you have to remember that the reason that you're there is because of the actions that you took. And if you continue to take those actions when you're at the top, that's where you continue to escalate and the mountain actually never ends. You just keep going up and up and up and up and up. And so this is the difference between people who win consistently and continue to level up and people who kind of like live this up and down, lifestyle. And this can apply to any area of your life, and it should apply to all areas of your life, right? Because success isn't just money. Money is very important, but it's a bunch of different shit. So
it's such an interesting thing, man. And like it's fun. Like now, hindsight, I've heard you say this many times, and I never really understood it. But you're like, dude, I'm still a lazy dude. I'm still a
exactly.
But like that makes sense. And
yeah.
I think the thing too is like, dude, I can understand why a lot of people get in that, because for a lot of people, they're probably afraid of that old version of them. They want to get so fucking far away from it.
You should be afraid of it.
Yeah.
That's what should push you down the road.
But they forget.
You should that's right.
Yeah.
You should I know that 350-pound fat lazy that I used to be is still in there.
Mm-hmm.
He's still in there, man.
Yeah.
He's just waiting. He's waiting for his time. He's waiting for his opportunity to come out. I'm aware of that because I'm old enough to have gone up and down that curve. Okay.
Yeah.
So at 36 years old, I decided, hey, I'm not doing this shit no more. And I'm just going to stay on the gas. And you know what's happened? Everything I just told you. I continue to go up, 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 up. And even, my buddies who are successful, they're like, fuck, dude, all you do is win. Yeah. Because I behave like a broke person all the time. And, people get around me and they're like, why is he so urgent? Why does he get so intense? What is his deal? Why doesn't he do this or that? Why doesn't he just relax? Because, bro, I know what happens when you do, because I know who the I am on the inside.
Yep.
And I know my propensity, just like most people, is to be lazy as to waste my time, to not be productive, to not train. And I don't want that. So I keep it very, very close. And I let my identity be nuanced. Okay. Like if we're having a real conversation and they say, okay, you know, like, how do you feel about things? Dude, I feel good. I'm pretty much the dude. Okay. I've done a lot of shit, built a lot of companies, built a bunch of podcasts, 2 number 1 podcasts, biggest mental transformation program. I've done a lot of shit. Okay. But when I show up every day, I act like it's day one. Like all my goal is to win the day. Okay. So, you know, I know what I am and I'm okay with that. And I'm aware of that. And I don't try to hide that. And I let that drive me down the path. And so when you say, like, when this person says, well, when does my identity catch up? You really don't want it to, if that makes sense. Okay. You want to get to a point where you understand that the actions produce the result and you are feeling good and proud and confident, and you developed, you know, the grit and the fortitude and the mental toughness to push through. But you also understand that those things have to be applied every single day to maintain or escalate from that point.
Yeah. Because that old you is still there.
Oh, it always is.
Yeah, dude.
It always is.
That's so fucking real, man.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Let's get to question number 2.
This is why people that gain weight and lose weight go back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. Yeah. Because they're not solving the real problem, bro. This is why 75 hard and live hard is such a big deal. Everybody tries to make it about your weight and your body fat percentage and your training and all this shit. When in reality, dude, it's training your brain. It's getting your brain conditioned to be highly disciplined, to be able to adhere to a plan all the time, not just when you feel good, right? And when you switch your understanding that everything comes from your mental toughness, your ability to succeed in life, every area, and it becomes a mental game, it changes your life. And anybody who's done 75 hard knows this. This is why people who do 75 hard and live the live hard lifestyle continue to escalate up if they're doing it correctly.
100%, dude. I love it, man. Guys, Andy, question number 2. All right, Andy. Andy, I'm the person everyone counts on. At work, at home, and my family. If something needs to get handled, it usually falls on me. I chose this life, and I'm proud of that. But some days, I'm exhausted, and I feel like there's no space left for what I want. How do you keep pushing to win without resenting the very life you worked so hard to build? I don't want to be selfish, but it's like, okay, guys, you guys are good? Yes? Okay, it's my turn now. How do you balance getting to that point of, you talk about it in selfishness and selflessness, right?
Yep.
Like, where does that cross?
Well, you know, look, dude, success comes with real responsibility. Okay. And when you start to win and you start to do things, other people around you become dependent on you and you become responsible for their outcomes in certain situations. And you have to understand that there's no world where anybody's built anything significant, especially significant wealth, where the responsibility isn't much greater when they have it than it was before. So this is a reality of becoming successful. Like, this is just part of it. Other people are going to depend on you. You are going to be responsible for other people. And if you're not, you won't be able to get where you want to go. It's impossible because it takes more than just you. So you have to understand that the reason you are in the life that you have is because you've handled shit so well for so long. Now, I can understand what you're saying because I've struggled with this as well, and I still struggle with this. Okay? There's a reason that I don't travel all over the place. There's a reason that I'm not at every, big event. And yes, I like to work and I like to create and I like to build, and I prefer that over doing all that other shit. But yeah, it'd be cool to be able to do some other stuff, and I could do those other things. And the reality of doing those things is as simple as you understanding that having time for yourself is a matter of being effective or ineffective. And if you have a company and you're making money and things are going well, and you still don't have time for yourself and you still don't have the ability to live a life, you're not running your shit right. You're running your shit inefficiently.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is why when I talk about the 24-hour game and the power list is so important. Because and by the way, you can get the Power List podcast for free. It's called Win the Day, episode 16 on Real AF. You want to go listen to that. It'll give you the play to run. But the whole thing is like, dude, you can only do so much in a day. So once you do your five critical tasks in a day, the rest of your day is free for you to live your life. That's the whole idea of the powerless system, which, by the way, all these other motherfuckers are trying to steal now and pretend like it's there. Core 5 or whatever they call it. Look, dude, I've been running this system for damn near 30 years. Okay. It works. And the reason I created the system was because I understood very simply that I needed to enjoy the process along the way. So the whole point, and by the way, if you're in Operator Standard, if you're in the Operator Standard app, you're starting to understand this very well. We're playing a 24-hour game, and there's only so many things that you can get done in a day. And as an entrepreneur, there's going to be a list a mile long whenever you choose to address it. It's going to be there tomorrow. It's going to be there the next day. The list never gets shorter. So you have to decide what a win is. For me, a win is very simple. 5 critical tasks a day. Those do not include my to-dos. These are critical tasks that move my business forward, my goals forward. Once those things are done, the rest of the day is mine to do with whatever I want. Now, I choose usually to like continue to work.
Yeah, reinvest that time back.
But because dude, I like being here and I like being around the guys and I like doing the things, right? But when I was younger, this is even when we were building the business. Like I would do the 5 critical tasks. If I got done by noon, bro, I'd leave. I'd go and do whatever I want, drive my car or, whatever.
Yeah.
So you have to come up with a way for you to enjoy your life as you go down the process. Because here's the thing, dude, this place that you're trying to get to where you're like, when is it going to be my time? If you don't adjust how you see your day, it'll never be your time. There will always be a list. There will always be shit to do. There's always going to be problems. There's always going to be people. And you have to understand that true happiness is not this destination that you're trying to get to. Enjoying your life is not this destination. Enjoying your life is something that you do on a daily basis, right? So this idea, and a lot of people have this, especially when it comes to winning and making money and shit or running a business, once I get here, everything will be great. But dude, you're never going to get there. And I'm not saying you won't get to your goals, but when you get to your goals, you're going to have new goals because that's what winners do. So if you're constantly stacking new shit on new shit on new shit on new shit, you tell me when you're going to live your life. The answer is never.
Yeah.
And by the way, your business should be built in a way where you enjoy it.
I was about to say,
you like the people. Like the people you work with. Right. Dude, I love coming here every day. Honestly, dude, I could be in the worst mood ever in the morning, and once I walk in here, I love being here. This is. You should build your business understanding that you are going to spend most of your time there. So you want to work with people that you like. You want to do things that you think are cool. You want to build things that you enjoy building. You want to create things that you're proud of. These are important things to being happy long term. And because money is not going to be the only thing that does it. Now, I can promise you this, you're never going to be happy with no money, right? Like all your friends are going to say stupid shit like, oh, you got to live your life. Well, how are they living their life? Yeah, they're living it in the basement playing Call of Duty, or they're living it in a bar stool. That's not living a life, bro. So, you got to reframe how you think about it, and you got to reorganize your effectiveness and make sure that you're looking at your life on a 24-hour basis and just stacking wins. Win, 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 win. And part of those wins every day is being effective enough to have a life. Okay. Like, dude, really? if you're in a place right now where you're like, oh, this is consuming me and I'm working 17 hours a day, like, dude, yeah, that sometimes you have to do that stuff. Sometimes it lasts for a couple years, when it 2-3 years, especially when you're starting. But the reality is that you have to build a life and a business that you enjoy, because that does become your life, right?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, dude. I feel like it's a tough thing.
It is. It's a nuanced thing.
Yeah.
It is. There's nuance to everything in business and life and performance. But it's, if you're a driven person, okay, here's the thing. If you're a driven person, like I said, you're gonna get 90% to where you want to go, and then you're gonna have a new set of goals. It's gonna be grow the business bigger. It's gonna be do this thing. And that's the only way to win long term, is to continue to reset the bar. Okay? Because if you become one of these people that just gets to the point and they say, oh, I got it, now you're like we talked about in the first question. Okay? Because here's what you don't understand, and a lot of people fail to understand this. Everybody else is continuously moving forward. They're innovating, they're pushing, they're working, they're trying. So the market is always shifting forward. Okay? Advancements are always happening. The minute you say, oh, I'm good, man. I got my, $500,000 house at the lake, and I got a BMW, and, I got a bass boat, or whatever the fuck you're into. Listen,
that's it.
You're going to get killed, because you're going to stop right where you are, and everybody else is going to pass you by. And this is how the game works. So the only way to win long term is to be like the first guy, who's always stacking on top, expanding, new, innovative, pushing harder, getting bigger, scaling out, which means more responsibility, which means the place you're trying to get to is mythical. It doesn't actually exist. It exists every single day, and you have to be aware of that. And once you're aware of that, your life perspective changes, and it becomes, because people are always asking me, they're like, well, dude, how do you balance work and life? It is my life. Like, it's just my life, that doesn't mean that work is my life or life is my life. It means it's all one thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's also a day-to-day thing, like you said, man. Like, there's gonna be some days where, I had great balance today.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some days where, like, that scale's tipped to the other side.
Yeah.
It just is what it is.
Yeah.
Let's try again tomorrow.
Listen, dude, the balance is a macro balance. It's not micro balance. People misunderstand. Like, they think they got to have a certain amount of time every day. Like, at 4 o'clock, I got to walk out the door because that's this time. Well, if that's the life you want, you shouldn't be an entrepreneur. That's not reality. That's never going to happen, and you're never going to win in that situation. It's not going to work. You should be an employee that gets a job and comes in and goes home and is happy with staying exactly where you are. Okay? Because there's 3 kinds of people. There's the people who come in and, they do their job and they get paid and then they go home. Then there's the people that come in and they progress, they improve their skill set, they do more than's asked, they anticipate needs, they contribute to the winning. Those people move up. And then there's the people who create from the ground zero, which is an entrepreneur. Okay? All 3 are needed. All 3 of those things are needed and valued. You have to decide which one you want to be, but you don't get the benefits of being an employee and the winnings of being an entrepreneur. It doesn't work like that. So you got to understand, dude, what you're signing up for. You're signing up for a different kind of life. You're signing up to play a different game. And all this shit that you see online and all these posts and all this nonsense, that's for other people, dude. That's not for you.
It's not applicable.
It's not.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's real, man. That's real. We got one more question for you, Andy. Guys, Andy, question number 3. Andy, my question to you is, I've been a general manager for a restaurant for 3.5 years now. I started in the restaurant industry 8 years ago, and I've worked my way from a line cook to the position I'm in now. I'm only 25 years old, and I have turned the restaurant I'm running now from a $1.3 million operation to a $2.3 million operation in 3.5 years. I mean this with respect to the owner, but he is more of an investor. I am the day in, day out running the operation, no exaggerations. I know I'm young, but I have this calling of being great. I mean that with 100% confidence. I know I can run a restaurant and make it successful. My goal is to start my own restaurant due to the fact that my boss does not believe in raises. I've not received one in 3.5 years, even with the growth of the company we're in. We are about to open up our second location. There's still no talks of more compensation. I'm in the position where I know I could be successful in doing my own thing, but I have paralysis that's keeping me from doing it. I'm not scared to fail. I'm sure there will be some failures in my future, but one thing is I won't quit. What advice would you give to a 25-year-old who has a wife and a newborn baby to get out of that paralysis and kick open the door and start their own thing and become one of the great business entrepreneurs in this country?
It's very simple. What's your life going to look like if you don't do it? If you stay right where you are and this dude pays you right what he pays you, which you clearly said he was going to, and you stay 5 more years there, what's your life going to look like? Very simple. You already know the answer. Okay. And by the way, if you are who you say you are, and you are one of these people that's called to be great, and you are one of these people that has always known, like, I'm meant for something more. I'm supposed to be winning. I'm supposed to be doing this. And you feel that on the inside because no one's going to come tell you that. Like, that's a calling. How much money would it have for him to pay you? How much money would he have to pay you for you to give up on that? He couldn't even afford it, bro. Okay? Like, if he came and said, hey, here's $1 million a year, and you truly have what you say you have, it wouldn't be enough.
Not enough.
Okay? So this isn't even about the money. This is about what the you're going to do with your life. And yeah, clearly you do know how to run a restaurant, but running a restaurant isn't the end all be all. Can you create a brand out of the restaurant? Can you create a place where it provides the financial outcome that you actually want to provide? Are you, like, managing something and starting something from scratch are two different things. Okay. You have a great perspective because you've grown up. You went through the line cook. You learned all the jobs.
Very
now you're
important.
manager.
Yeah.
Huge deal.
Yeah.
Still not the same thing. Still not the same thing as putting your balls on the line and writing checks, not knowing if you're going to be able to pay them. Okay. It's not the same thing, dude. At the end of the day, that guy who you say is an investor, his ass is on the line. Yours isn't. All right. And that's why those people make the most money, because they can handle the uncertainty and most people can't. What most people don't understand is that they're living in a situation of uncertainty anyway, because what if the restaurant tanks?
Yeah.
What if something happens? What if someone finds a mouse head in the steak and it makes the news?
Yeah, right.
Okay. Like, you're like one thing away from being unemployed. You just don't understand that. So how I would look at this, if I were you, is what's my life going to look like if I don't do this? Okay. Because if you are truly called to become what you say you want to become, which is one of the greatest entrepreneurs, and I'm assuming restaurateurs, you can't do that where you're at.
Yeah.
And every day that you stay there is a day that you're not going to get to live that out. So you got to be real about what you're trying to trade. And I understand. Yeah, it's scary, but you know what the game is? You know what the game is? The game is jump and figure it the fuck out. That's the entrepreneur game. Okay. And not everybody's built for it, dude. There's a lot of great managers. There's a lot of great managers that cannot do that part of it. They cannot do it. It is a different, I was actually just getting my hair cut and I was thinking about this. And dude, I was thinking like I just be honest, exactly what I thought. Exactly what I thought was, if people actually knew what goes on in my head on a daily basis, they would never be an entrepreneur.
No, they'd be in therapy somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, for real. Because like legit, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about the new Arcane Tech. Then I'm thinking about First Form. Then I'm thinking about S2. Then I'm thinking about cannabis. Then I'm thinking about tequila. Then I'm thinking about the show. Then I'm thinking, and these thoughts are all like trying to organize themselves in my brain, and my head is hurting. Like legit, I'm sitting in the chair. I'm like, I got a fucking headache. And then I thought, well, I think everybody's head would ache if they had all this shit going on at one time.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's just not for most people. It's just not.
No.
Because it consumes you, dude. And then, like, on top of it, try to have a normal relationship. It's almost impossible because here's the thing, dude. I'm always there. I'm always there. I'm always there. My brain is always, it's so hyper vigilant to solving problems that when there aren't problems, guess what?
That's a problem.
I try to find a problem.
That's right.
Okay? So so your mind becomes so conditioned to executing and solving problems that it's almost impossible to be at peace. Because even when everything is calm and everything is going okay, you're still in this place of like, all right, something's going to happen. I got to, what's going to happen? I'm going to anticipate that, because true entrepreneurs are anticipating needs. They're not reacting, they're anticipating. So when I'm sitting on the beach somewhere doing normal rich guy shit, you know what's going through my head? All right, this could happen. Here's how we protect against this. This could happen. Here's how we do this. And I'm doing that for all these different things at once.
And dude, it sounds insane to people. Like, hey, guys, we're about to start playing on it. What? That's not a problem.
Oh yeah, you guys know.
Yeah.
You guys know.
Why
These dudes will get
we're good.
These dudes will get texts in the middle of night that have nothing to do with anything that we talked about.
Sounds insane.
And it'll be like, hey, we got to do this and this and this. And you guys here, the podcast team will be like, I know you're thinking it, you don't say it, but like, what the you know? Like,
it sounds insane to the average person.
It sounds insane to my own team.
Yeah.
But like, bro, I'm looking way down the pipe. I'm looking, all right, here's where things are going. Here's where we got to be positioned. This is what needs to happen. And when that's going on multiple projects, bro, your brain doesn't have the capacity to process other kinds of information. And luckily, God blessed me with a pretty good brain. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think, you know, for most people, like, dude, that's a miserable life. It's miserable. But for the people who are built for it, that's all they want. That's all they want. Yeah, okay. Like when I sit down and, you know, Dana and I talk, right? Or I talk with Hermosi or any of my buddies who are hyper successful, Ed Milet, we're all like that. We're like, dude, when you sit down and have a cigar with Ed, you might sit there in silence. And that is a cool thing. Like when you're around other high achieving people, you could sit there in like super in silence for an hour just thinking. And then, you know, Alex will say something like, have you ever thought of this? Or what about that? Right? And like, it's just a different kind of dude, bro, or woman. It's just a different person. And for most people, they can't handle that, dude. And that's not me beating my chest saying, oh, I have this. No, that's just what I'm built to do. Not everybody's built for it, bro. And that's one of the biggest problems with entrepreneurship. And I don't want to discourage people by saying this, but you have to be built for war, bro. You have to be built for it. You know, and I hate to use the example because like, I don't want to disrespect like actual warriors, but your mindset's the same. Okay. I'm thinking of all my people and I'm thinking of like, cause at this point, dude, it's really not about me anymore. Okay. It's about my people.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of all the things and I'm like, okay, I got to protect. It's just like being
a battlefield, bro.
Yeah. You know, I've never been on one, but I imagine this is what it's like.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's what could happen. This is what could, all right, I need you guys to move over here because they're going to hit here. And if you don't move, you're going to get killed. Mm-hmm. And that's the same concept in business. You're moving chess pieces to win this game. And, you know, most people look at that and they say, well, that's no way to live your life. But like, dude, you know, and you've been there when I've been talking to Dana, you know what Dana says? I love it.
I love it.
I love this shit.
With a smile.
Right. And dude, they do love it. And I love it.
Yeah.
But like most of you would be miserable. And I don't mean that out of disrespect. I just mean that as a fact. Like it's not for you. Pick one thing, be good at it, make some money, keep moving down the pipe. Don't do 500 things. Do the one, you know, like there's levels to entrepreneurs, bro. Like there's like inside. Okay. So it's basically 8% of the population is actual entrepreneurs and less than 1% are actually successful. And inside that less than 1%, there's like levels in that 1%. Okay. And like the true killers, like these all they want to do is hunt, bro. That's all they want to do. They're built for it. They're built for conquering. They're built for building. Like, bro, if I was in the, the 1200 year, if I was living in the year 1200, bro, I'd be conquering the world. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd be riding in on horses and we'd be killing, and it would be straight up conquering, because that's what I'm built to do. I get to do it in business, which is great
and safe.
Yeah, yeah. Not always.
Well, like people ain't dying,
Man, not always. Yeah, not always, bro. You get in there and you get into big money shit, and you start with people. They don't like. This is another thing. Like when you get into big money and there's big money on the line, people do all kinds of shit, bro. They'll hire people to go get a job at your company and try to do corporate espionage. They'll try to sabotage you. They'll try to fuck with you. They'll threaten you. Like these are like, it's a different world, bro. It's like old school gangster shit, and you got to be a real gangster to deal with it.
That's real.
So, and you know that.
Yeah, bro. Listen.
So
I get it.
And I don't say that to discourage people, because you can condition yourself. But it's all about what the fuck you actually want. Like, what the fuck do you want? Right? Do you like, you have to be real about what you want. And nobody really ever asks themselves, what do I really want? They see the car, they see the house, they see the garage, they see the private travel, they see the hobnobbing with other people, and they say, I want that. But they want that. They don't want the shit that comes with it. Right? Because there's 20 years of backstory for these dudes, all of them, 20, 30 years of just eating shit to get to that point. And like, dude, that's not for everybody, man.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Yeah.
And, but it's achievable for everybody. Yeah. That's the thing. You can do it. Do you want to do it? Is the question. So like, to this guy who's saying, I want to be one of the greatest ever, bro, you're going to trade a lot for that. There's a lot. The greatest restaurateurs in the world, they're no different than Dana White in their world, right? They run their world. Dana said something to me, dude, when we were talking about Trump one time. He's like, you know how you run your world, right? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, I run my world. He goes, Donald Trump runs the world. So, but there's levels.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like you can criticize Trump all you want. And that's why, like, I get a good read on what's going on with the dude, because I understand the level of where the fuck he is. That dude's a straight up warrior, bro. You can't get where he got without being that way.
It's required.
It's a different kind of dude. And it's just not something that most people can do.
No.
And not because they can't do it. They can't survive the process of doing it. They'll go crazy. So I believe that you can become who you want to become. And I believe that you think you want to be great, but you have to ask yourself, are you willing to pay the price of greatness? Because that is the most important question.
I want to do one little final follow-up on this for you. I know we're running out of time, but I want to ask you this, because the money aspect, the not getting the raise aspect that you mentioned, right? Okay, cool. Like, and again, what if you don't do it, you stay there? How realistic do we need to be? Like, he's not about to start this entrepreneur path.
Okay, it's very simple.
And make some money either.
Very simple.
You know what I'm saying?
Very simple. You work in, okay, I worked 2 or 3 other jobs the first 10 years I was in business. I worked those jobs to support myself so the business could stay open.
Yeah.
This is the part nobody talks about. So if you're going through an adjustment of working for someone else, but then starting your own thing, you got to minimize your life. You got to get rid of that nice car. You got to get a piece of shit. You got to get rid of that nice condo or that nice house and go live in a shithole. Okay. You got to downsize your life to where you can just function. Then when you're to that place, you're working towards the thing. And then when the thing starts to pay a little bit of money and you can survive over there, like you start a restaurant, things start going well, you're able to start making a little bit of money. When you're able to replace the income that comes from that you are doing the other jobs of support, that's when you make the full jump.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a moment before.
No. But most people aren't willing to take that step backwards because it's a little embarrassing.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where the hang up is for most people. Most people don't want to go from driving a Tahoe or a Denali to driving a 1987 beater.
Yeah, Ford Ranger.
Right, exactly.
That's right.
People don't want to do that. And that ends up costing them their entire lives. Like, that's fucking crazy.
That's part of that process you're
for sure.
You
that's
go
crazy.
That. Yeah.
And by the way, I just want to hit on this too. And this goes for everybody who's an entrepreneur or an employee. No one's giving you a fucking raise. Like, that's not what happens, bro. Like, very few companies will proactively come and say, hey, here's the raise.
Yeah.
Your job is, you understand, like, you work for you. Okay. Now, you might be part of a team, but you're bringing something unique to the team. What's that worth? You have to start thinking of it as like the operator thinks of it. What is my value here? And if your value is not really strong, you got to build value. If your value is strong and you're not getting the recognition, then you have to be very tactful and say, okay, here's what I do. This is what I believe it's worth. And you have to go have a conversation and say, with the facts, by the way, not bullshit. Here's the facts. I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this. I think it's worth this. I'm currently getting paid that. I would like to have a talk with you about this. That's where the conversation starts. And a lot of people rot away in what would otherwise be great careers because they're afraid to have a conversation like that. You know how many people quit their jobs because they're like, oh, I'm not getting paid enough. Well, did you ask to get paid more?
They've even had a meeting.
Did you display your value?
Right.
Are you being honest with yourself about your value? Right? Like, dude, and then what happens is these people quit and they go somewhere else and they have the same habit. They think that everybody's going to just reward them. And part of being successful is, like, everybody likes to say, oh, if you know my worth. The say that don't have no worth. They just don't. Your job should be to be so good, so good, so good that the company couldn't operate without you. And when you can get to that point, you can write your own check. And that's the way you should think about it as an entrepreneur or as an employee. Yeah. If you just consistently get frustrated because you're not making enough money and go from thing to thing to thing to thing to thing, you're no different than the entrepreneur that quits after 2 years. And they end up wasting their whole lives in 7 different businesses that never work. All right. So part of maturity and part of, like, and by the way, a lot of people are full of shit. Okay. A lot of people will come in and they'll say, I'm so worth this. And that doesn't mean anything, dude. That doesn't, just because you feel like you're supposed to make more money doesn't mean you're worth more money. Okay. You have to come with the facts. You have to show your worth. And it's your job, not the employer's job, to compile that and display that worth. And in an ideal situation, you work for a good ethical company, they will recognize your value beforehand.
Right.
But that's not most places.
No.
Most places you're going to have to go and you're going to have to say, hey, boss, here's what I do. This is what I've done. These are the things that I handle. This is how good it gets done. Do you agree that it gets done well? Yes, I agree. Well, here's what I'd like to be paid. And that's a normal conversation that a lot of young people just won't ever have.
That's a grown-up adult conversation.
That's it, dude. You should never be embarrassed to talk about money. You should never be embarrassed to talk about money. That is a real thing, okay? And so many young people will ruin their lives because they cannot have a conversation about money. It's a normal thing, but it's on you. And if you aren't willing to put those things together and display it in a way that makes sense or actually be valuable, you're going to rot. That's the reality, dude. So you have to be undeniably great. You have to display that you're undeniably great. If a good company, you work for a good company, you're going to say, fuck, I love that guy. We got to keep him. But not every place is like that. So it's on you to market yourself. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. But in this guy's situation, you got something scratching on the inside of you.
No, it doesn't matter. For that guy, if for this dude particular, I was just addressing everybody.
Yeah, no, for sure.
For this guy in particular, if that's true what you say, and it's true, you need to leave that job and figure it the fuck out, because you will ruin your life.
I love it, man. I love it, dude. Well, guys, Andy, that was 3.
All right, guys.
Way to start a Monday.
We'll see you tonight, 7 p.m. Central. Don't be a hoe.
Share the show.